Learn to be super successful. Subscribe to my channel, Meathead. How do you say this kid's name? An engine, right? Is this a high-level engine or a low-level engine? Upper caste, lower caste?
Lower.
Lower. That makes it even better. I'm glad you told me that. A while back, I bet him £1 million to £1 that what he was trying to do was impossible. You notice a £1 coin in there. He's tried everything humanly possible to make me wrong. And he couldn't, as they say in Scotland. And I would have paid up the £1 million because it was no way on God's fucking green earth that fucking deal that dog could hunt. None. Yet most of you in your life have hunted with either crippled dogs, no dogs, blind dogs, dogs that can't smell, all your lives. I rest my case. Look at the results. And that's including a few of you got a few $1 million. So fucking what? You've seen guys create tens of millions in a few years, few months. For you to take the most away from this seminar, you have to admit that you have pissed your life away to the day you got here. For those of you that can't admit that, you're going to be fucked. You've wasted every fucking microsecond of your life, including the fucking shithead kids you got. If you can swallow that turd, then you'll make it. If you don't swallow that piece of shit, then you're never going to make it. Or you're going to be on the 15, 20, 25-year plan. And a couple in this fucking room don't have 25 years. You have wasted every ounce of your ability. Like, you know how when you flush a toilet, the last turd that goes down, that's your life. It's when I try to explain to my mom, God rest her soul, she's dead now. She died here. Remember, I have 3 regrets. 1, I'm a combat-trained Army officer, never saw combat. 2, the night before my mother died, I'm yelling at her in the cottage out here. God damn it, Mom, don't be a bitch. You're not going to die. You're not sick. She's dead the next morning. I like that one back, but I can't have that one back. And 3, I didn't set my goals high enough. So if I didn't set my goals high enough, where does that leave you? And I've seen some of your goals on those and I'd be embarrassed. And some of you are embarrassed. You might as well have put 0 down instead of the fucking pissy ant things that you put down. When we talk about goals and affirmations, I want your goals to be bodacious, over the top. As when President Obama was just a pothead kid, said that I'm going to be the first black president. That was over the top. But you got to swallow, and that's part of the reason. If you explain that to your families, they will think you're sick. Because all of your families, not all, but most of your families are living vicariously through you. What the fuck? When I tell you the world's over, brother, it's over. Because if you're the best we got on this planet, and do it right, not shooting your cheek off like some of the assholes have done. Jam it right up against the roof of your mouth and pull the trigger. Then the top of your head will come off. Do it fucking right. Or if you want to know how to cut your wrist, I'll show you how to cut your wrist, not on YouTube. I'll show you how to do it so paramedics ain't going to get there in time. Instead of the half-ass bullshit. If you're going to do it right. If you're going to off yourself, do it fucking right, metaphorically speaking. Because everybody deserves to live. I would never, fuck you. Most of you should have rolled down the inside of your fat mama's leg. Never been born. What value had you brought to the world? None. There's not a cocksucker in this room or watching me on YouTube that has brought one bit of value to the world other than me. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can change. Everybody talks about change, but nobody likes it. We've all been down that road, right? When they first came out with the term change agent, I almost fainted. And nothing makes me faint. This is about 30 years ago. Change agent. Well, first of all, they're hated when they come in the workplace. Change agent, what the fuck's that mean? You're not changing my job description. You will be the change agents of the future of your universe when you get out there. And believe me, guys, and a couple of gals, you're going to be hated. You're not going to be revered. So if you think everybody's going to think you're smart, Doc, you're wrong. You're going to be hated. So if you think, for those of you who got no friends, great. We're starting at ground zero. But if you think this is going to get friends, you're crazy as hell, because it just doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. Because people are threatened for all the reasons that brought most of you here and the kids that are watching on YouTube. You want riches, but you're not willing to pay the price to action. Pay the price to action. It used to be people, 2/3 of Britain and 2/3 of the United States are obese, I'm told. And and I think it's more than 2/3, but anyway, and it used to be restrict calories, more exercise. That basically it. Or just forget exercise and reduce calories. But if it's so simple, how come there's so many obese people? Why do 2/3 of the people that have lung cancer continue to smoke?
Too weak mentally to quit.
Because, well, fine, I'll die inhaling nicotine. Now, the big laugh that I have is, the vapor things that were supposed to be easy peasy, nothing, no cancer, and now they discovered something that's worse than nicotine. I forget what it is. People dying. I've got a couple of the biggest vape guys in Europe are my boys. I trained. I hope they're getting ready to exit. I haven't talked to them recently. By the way, when you make $1 billion, I never hear from you again. I want 100 million. You make 20 million, I never hear from you again. I want 10 billion. You make 50 million, I never hear from you again. And when I mean never, I mean never. Not a postcard, a Christmas card, a fuck you. Because you're embarrassed to tell people how you got rich. An old psychopath in a castle. And if I can make anybody in this room, I am God. I'm the closest to God you're ever going to meet. Because I take lumps of shit like this moron here and make them rich. I am the closest to God. And I am on a rocket ship to motherfucking heaven, according to the Catholic Church. And who else? Lying, cheating Catholic Church, Vatican. If they tell me it's so, I believe them. Anything else about, who's my 530? Yes, sir. I may be able to fix part of your problem, the stuff you're missing. Who's my 6? Who's my 630? Okay. Tonight we eat in the castle again. No Christmas party for Sally. Sally was not thrilled about that, if you could look at her face, but we got it by her. Normally, there's no secrets in a place like this. There's only mysteries. Have you ever seen Upstairs, Downstairs, or Downton Abbey? Is that right? Downton, am I saying that right? That's this place. The outside staff talks down about the inside staff, the. But our general manager's a gal. Our chief accountant's a gal. All my 4 administrative assistants are gals. Because in practice, gals are normally more efficient. Normally. Not always, but normally. Anything else?
Mr. Peña, what is non-recourse money?
For the third time, this is the third time you've asked me the same question. I'm going to tell your brother. It is money that you don't have to pay back. Can you say that in Hindi to him? Say it in Hindi. Go ahead.
I got it again.
No, I want to hear it.
अगर डील सही नहीं जाती तो पैसे वापस करने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है. You have no liability.
Say it in German.
Keine persönliche Bürgschaft.
I know some Jews that are not going to be happy.
No. Well, you know the ones that get on my ass is I had a Sikh mentee a few years ago that I used to beat up all the time. Came to a lot of seminars, and a member of parliament, Sikh, got on my case, and so he had to put together a group of Sikhs to say that I was a good guy, and that I'm not a good guy, but I know what you mean. But I got crossways because I was beating up this turbaned. You don't call it a turban. What do you call it?
Turban.
Yeah, it is. Okay, turban Sikh. But I get more not bullshit, but I get more about, as they say in this country, slagging off minorities. I'm a minority, but I mean, racism is alive and well, kids. If you can't understand that, I had a guy, his name wasn't Saddam Hussein, but it was very close to Saddam Hussein, and he couldn't make QLA work down in Manchester. And I told him, I know I know it had to do with his name. So finally, one of the big four partners, I said, I want to talk to this guy. And he told me, off the record, Mr. Peña, you're right. I mean, we can't, are you taping this call? And I said, no. And he says, you're right. I mean, he could have any other name, but whenever it goes to the committee, I mean, they'll see that name and everybody they think it's a joke. Why would anybody keep a name like that? Like, I had a Bin Laden, too. Why? Why in God's... Why? There's a reason why there's no Hitlers left. Some of these names need to disappear. And I had a black guy from Jamaica that had the dreadlocks, the things. And I didn't know that they had anything to do with religion. I didn't know that. And he's coming to, by the way, he's coming to the hardcore in December. And finally I convinced him, and he went back, and now he looks like a black James Bond. Okay? And deals left, right, and center. Big Four, love him, blah, 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 blah. When he came in with the dreadlocks, they tried to tell him to get out of the office. I mean, life. If you're not old enough to know life's not fair, I mean, it has nothing, And but non-recourse money is money that has been structured normally through a special branch of a regular commercial lending institution, and or a setup that was just made for non-recourse money in third world country, deprived areas like Detroit, and where they don't expect the poor folks to be able to run a business. They don't expect, and that's why we have in government contracts that used to be set aside. I don't know if they still are set aside for minorities. If you're a one-eyed Chinese or Cambodian, one-titted, one-legged Vietnam vet, there's 25 different sources of money for you. I'm not exaggerating. One-eyed, one-titted, one-legged Vietnam vet. At least you can check all kind of boxes for that. Now, I'm a minority. I've never got any minority money, but nobody feels sorry for me that I'm poor or anything, because I've never been poor other than a kid. And so, I mean, when I've gone to a couple of conferences that I've spoken at years ago, and they laugh. They have the picture behind me in front of the big castle, and back in those days they had planes and shit like that. Now, what's this guy coming to talk at a minority conference for? Well, and then I show them the picture of me standing in front of the lot where my house used to be there. They don't believe that's me. Doing my best to look like a drug dealer, but I was. I mean, I can have 4 or 5 of my cousins show up and tell you, he's not lying. We were dirt poor. Some of us are still dirt poor, Dan. But non-recourse money is out there. Now, why would a white guy from Australia, already rich, get non-fucking recourse money? Thank you, because he asked. Now, if I was black, like the Ace of Spades over here, I'd line them motherfuckers up. I'd have them 50 deep and 40 across. The minority now are the white guys and gals. Smith, Jones, Appleby, not Peña. But if you don't ask, thank you. But you got to ask. And there's, what's the name? ICICI, that bank?
ICICI.
Yeah. It's got non-recourse money. But who else is from India? Anybody else? Okay. You guys have never heard of non-recourse money, right?
Yes, I didn't know about it.
You did hear? No.
I heard it for the first time.
Okay. So nobody's been, no Indian seminar, there's no Indian guru down there, hocus pocus, trying to teach you about non-recourse money, right?
No, never.
And it's there. Canada, it's there. Have you ever heard about it before you got here, Doc? Well, there are bankers out there that have never heard about it either. And you will and they'll say, excuse me, what'd you say again? Non-recourse. They'll step away from the, and they'll come back 20 minutes later. Oh, yeah, we have that, but I'm not the guy. We have that, but I'm not the guy. Oh, that's fine. Who is the guy? Who is the gal? Their diary's fully booked, as they say in this country. Well, I'll just sit here until it gets unbooked. And they all start shaking. But I had a kid arrested. In one of my YouTubes, I say I go into new branches that have never opened up, and one thing you know for sure, they have money, they have no customers, right? And I say, what's your lending limit, Mr. Manager? 50,000. Well, it's our lucky day. I need 50,000 overdraft, 49.5. And I say I don't leave until I get the check. We had a guy arrested in Wisconsin, I think, because the police drug him out because he said, I won't leave until I get a check. And they arrested him, put him in jail. And I'm not recommending you do that, YouTube. It's just as I told you the thing that the guy told the girl that he wanted to do to her, and he got arrested too. So, in today's age of political correctness.
Did he actually get the money?
What? No, he didn't get the money. He just went to jail. He needed one of your other gurus to bail him out. You get now for what they did to me when I was in grammar school. Make me stand there and pee my pants and stuff like that. I would own the LA school district. Lock, stock, I would own their pension plan. I would have sued them for $1 billion. And, but you can't do that shit. But my generation is, ostensibly got thicker skin. As Sally would say, I have rhino skin. When I came to the UK in 1981 and I wasn't getting my point across, I'd say, I'm an American, you can't insult me. You can piss on my face, just give me the fucking money. Now, can you imagine in 1981, that coming from a guy in one of the big banks in the city? I'm an American, you can't insult me, you can piss on my face, just give me the money. That's a direct fucking quote. And I was dressed like this in those days. Used to wear a bowler and a brolly. And I got the money. For the thin-skinned of you in the audience, it will be harder for you to make the transition. You've already figured that out, and I can tell by the look in your eyes who has got the thinnest skin. Doc, to name one. All that education didn't help his skin get thicker.
It's growing now.
Oh, it's growing now. Thank you. But I mean, we've got a guy who is works for Homeland Security. He works 60 hours a week. He came to the Pennsylvania talk. He's the guy on my website that's got the QLA license plate. He's built his dream team. Hopefully he's closing his first deal before the year end. He works 60-hour a week for Homeland Security, keeping other Mexicans, he's a Mexican kid, out of the country and rolling up healthcare. Bedpans. And they got some real dismal bedpans down there near the border. You were in the Ritz-Carlton when you were working the bedpans as opposed to some of the ones down there. Okay, any questions? Tonight you've got a movie. No other written homework. No questions? Okay, I'll see you at 5:30 in a few minutes.